Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on 10 games in Fanatical's Hyper VR bundle of December 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have After the Fall Deluxe Edition, a multiplayer first-person cooperative VR game set in a frozen zombie apocalypse. The world has frozen over after a freak ice age destroyed much of humanity and gave rise to the Snowbreed, a zombie variant that freezes you solid instead of eating your juicy brain. The story doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does give you a reason to shoot things. The campaign will see you killing Snowbreed aka ice zombies and collecting harvests as you make your way from one safe house to the next. Each time you reach a safe house, you have the opportunity to spend the harvest on upgrades and consumables like explosives. Even though this may sound like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, because it is, what's different with this game is that it is in VR. Shooting rampaging hordes of zombies feels more desperate in VR. If you're one that struggles to keep your dinner down with the fast-paced VR action, you can switch to the teleport movement, but immersion will take a hit. Shooting at the horde with both your guns, reloading as you backpedal, then hurling a pipe bomb into a charging mass is really satisfying. This experience is enhanced even further when playing with friends, as you feel a sense of companionship and camaraderie in the face of overwhelming odds. The sound design is excellent with great ambiance that brings much life to your surroundings. You'll hear distant hordes coming closer, and your gunfire has a visceral and jarring kick. It's a really immersive experience. Even though the missions are relatively short, there's an element of grind for new weapons which will have you coming back. As you explore and survive, you'll find floppy disks, which can be used to unlock new weapons or upgrades for existing weapons. There are 10 weapons in this game, and these ranges from handguns to shotguns to submachine guns and revolvers, and each weapon feels different and unique. You'll most likely find a weapon that you really love and want to stick with. An odd thing about this game is that it doesn't have a dedicated melee attack. You can open lockers and interact with the environment, but you can't just pick up a hammer that you found on the floor to bash Snowbreed heads in, or even push them away when they get too close. However, this does mean that you will depend more on your teammates to help you when the Snowbreeds get too close. This game features a simple mission structure, replayability, fast-paced action that is both stylish and highly satisfying, and is definitely worth playing. The Deluxe Edition includes access to the first season of post-launch content, significantly expanding the frozen dystopia experience. You get exciting new additions like the Boulevard, Harvest Run, and the Stockpile PvP arena, giving you fresh ways to fight and team up. Furthermore, you can immediately personalize your arsenal with the exclusive Uncle Bob weapon skin. For the dedicated fan, the package wraps up the value of the original soundtrack and a digital art book, allowing you to appreciate the game's concept art and immersive audio outside of the main game. It is a strong offering. And number 2 we have Arizona Sunshine Deluxe Edition, a survival horror game that puts you in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. You play as a lone survivor living in a cave in Arizona. One day you hear a radio broadcast about a potential military safe zone. Naturally, you exit your cave to find the source of this broadcast, murdering any zombie that is looking to feast on your flesh. You can choose to either teleport to locations to move or actually move around in the world, depending on how good you are at keeping your dinner in your tummy as you play. The multiplayer campaign and horde mode add a lot of replay value to the game. You can play up to 4 players in horde mode, adding even more gameplay time. The shooting mechanics in this game is accurate and solid. Aiming down sights of your pistol, pulling the trigger of your own hand, hearing the blast of your gun, and feeling the kick of the pistol via your controller vibration makes this game highly immersive. There's also the option to go stealthy if you want to change the game up a bit. You can run around obstacles to get past zombies instead of shooting every zombie you see. The issue of the gameplay of Arizona Sunshine, as satisfying as it is to shoot zombies in the face, is that it is too linear. This problem may be a symptom caused by the story of the game though. Instead of creating some deep characters like in most zombie apocalypse games, TV shows, and movies, this game lacks any NPC at all, which makes the world feel very empty. The greatest apocalypse stories are usually about people, relationships, factions, and human struggles, all of which are absent in this game. This game would have been much better with a few non-zombie NPCs thrown into the story. Arizona Sunshine is a must-play VR game for lovers of the zombie apocalyptic world or those who like first-person shooters. While the graphics and story require improvement, the gameplay and shooting mechanics allow this game to stand on its own 2 feet. The Deluxe Edition includes the base game and 2 narrative expansions, Dead Man and The Damned, providing the complete story. This VR experience thrusts you into a sun-drenched zombie apocalypse where you must survive alone or with 3 allies. You handle diverse weaponry using realistic physical movements to obliterate the undead. Beyond the gameplay, you'll also receive the official soundtrack featuring 12 tracks and a digital art pack filled with concept sketches. It is a definitive collection, offering everything you need to conquer the desert and outlast the swarm. This bundle ensures you possess every piece of content for the ultimate survival journey. At number 3 we have Windlands 2, a high-flying VR adventure that evolves the pure traversal of its predecessor into a fully fleshed action experience. In this sequel, you return to the role of a guardian equipped with your signature dual grappling hooks and a new essential tool, a trusty bow. The game places you in a vibrant cel-shaded world where most of the floor is missing, forcing you to master the art of swinging like Spider-Man to navigate between floating islands and ancient ruins. The most significant addition is the narrative-driven campaign, which you can tackle solo or with up to 3 friends in seamless co-op. You'll encounter eccentric NPCs with top-notch voice acting that breathes life into the previously sparse world. Combat is now a core pillar, pitting you against various robotic enemies and massive multi-staged bosses that require you to maintain momentum while aiming for glowing weak points. These encounters feel like an aerial version of Shadow of the Colossus, providing a sense of scale and euphoria as you dodge incoming fire mid-swing. While the movement is exhilarating, you should be aware of tracking limitations on certain hardware, which can lead to occasional deaths during intense battles or precise platforming. Despite these hurdles, the refined presentation, expanded gameplay, and addictive speedrun challenges make it a standout title. Whether you're hunting for hidden collectible plates, or soaring through the jungle and sky environments, Windlands 2 offers a unique sense of freedom that remains one of the most rewarding sensations available in virtual reality today. At number 4 we have Z.O.N.A. Origin, a highly immersive post-apocalyptic adventure that delivers the closest thing you'll get to a stalker in VR experience. This ambitious game, largely developed by a solo creator, invites you to dive into the mysterious Chernobyl exclusion zone in 2030 to uncover the fate of a missing scientific expedition and prevent a catastrophe. This blend of action, horror, survival, and RPG elements offers over 30 hours of deep gameplay. The game excels at atmosphere, successfully creating a grim, otherworldly feeling of solitude. You'll enjoy carefully stepping through the dark forests and abandoned bunkers, with dangerous anomalies sparking and fizzling around you. The next generation graphics and diverse locations are very impressive, especially for a VR title. Furthermore, the game features realistic handling for a variety of classic and modern weapons, plus the first ever VR system for full weapon customization using spray cans. While the story is fairly simple, a classic amnesiac plot, the sheer variety of enemies you face is a pleasant surprise. You'll also appreciate the immersive inventory system where you physically shove items into a backpack, and a fun cooking minigame. However, some rough edges do exist. Gunplay can feel subpar at a distance, and there's a noticeable amount of tedious backtracking through empty zones. Fiddly controls for objects like the PDA, and a tendency for items to fall past the backpack can detract from the experience. Despite some minor jank and polish issues, understandable for a solo developer, the authentic atmosphere and sheer amount of content makes this a very solid package. If you're desperate for a lengthy atmospheric VR story game, especially one in the vein of Stalker, Z.O.N.A. Origin is a clear recommendation. At number 5 we have Hellsweeper VR, an intense roguelike first-person action game built specifically for VR, offering a visceral combat experience that is both demanding and highly rewarding. The core loop sees you taking on runs consisting of 3 sets of 5 levels, each culminating in a challenging boss fight. Death sends you straight back to the lobby to start the entire sequence over, a staple of the genre. What makes Hellsweeper VR unique is the depth of its combat and the no-holds-barred movement system. You wield a dynamic mix of melee weapons, spells, fire, stone, ice, and a handgun, allowing you to create personalized, devastating combat styles. You can slice enemies with swords, levitate, and spin severed limbs, and even combine pistol shots with powerful spells. The action is frantic, especially when you're mixing in acrobatic movements like jumps, somersaults, and wall running. This fluent motion is the game's massive selling point, providing a truly badass feeling. But be warned, this intense freedom requires solid VR legs, as it will be challenging for those prone to motion sickness. Visually, the hellish setting is effectively brought to life with good lighting, though you might find the level designs feeling repetitive over time. The audio is strong, particularly the spatial sound design, which helps you pinpoint incoming enemy attacks. As you progress, you collect temporary buffs for your current run, and currency for permanent unlocks back in the lobby, ensuring strong longevity as you constantly strive to complete all 3 sets and refine your ultimate build. If you crave a VR roguelike with immense replayability and dynamic unrestricted movement, Hellsweeper VR is a compelling experience, provided you can handle the intensity. And number 1 we have the Light Brigade, a VR roguelike shooter that feels like a spiritual successor to In Death Unchained, blending tense gunfights with a dark fantasy setting. This game delivers intense, methodical action that rewards patience and persistence. You'll face off against demonic Nazi-adjacent enemies across foggy sequential levels, where every corner might hide loot, or death. Despite a forgettable story, the real draw is the gameplay loop. Earn upgrades, unlock new World War II era weapons, and dive back in for another run. The physics-based guns feel great, with realistic reloading adding tension to every fight. From the classic Euro 43 to the iconic M3 submachine gun, each class offers different styles, with dual-wielding Colt 1911s bringing pure John Wick energy. Enemy variety keeps you on your toes, with new threats like shielded goons, tanks, and snipers introduced regularly. Between battles, you'll scavenge for loot, gold, weapon mods, magic trinkets, and souls that fuel your progression. Magical wands and run-specific upgrade cards add even more layers of strategy. The dark atmospheric environments can feel overly muddy, making visibility tough in some areas. Still, excellent spatial audio, immersive weapon handling, and meaningful progression outweigh the visual drawbacks. While clunky belt holsters sometimes frustrate, the Light Brigade keeps you coming back with its satisfying challenge, clever class system, and addictive roguelike loop. If you crave tactical gunplay with a mystical twist, this is worth the grind. And number 7 we have YUKI, Space Ranger, a vibrant virtual reality bullet hell roguelike that transforms your controller into an action figure, inviting you to live out a child's imaginative spacefaring adventure. From the creators of Pixel Ripped, this title places you in a beautifully realized bedroom before whisking you away into a neon-drenched, anime-inspired universe. You hold the protagonist YUKI in your hand, maneuvering her through 3D space to dodge intricate patterns of projectiles while returning fire against YUKalians. The core gameplay loop is an addictive blend of physical exertion and tactical progression. You must use your entire body to duck and weave, guiding YUKI through hazardous environments filled with falling debris and laser barrages. While one hand controls YUKI's flight and primary fire, the other hand manages a support drone used to collect creative drive orbs and trigger defensive shields or freezing blasts. Because it is a roguelike, death is inevitable. However, each failed run allows you to spend collectible orbs on permanent upgrades and new blade wings that alter your weapon types. Visually, you appreciate the crisp cel-shaded art style and the dramatic scale of multi-stage boss fights. Although the standard enemy types can occasionally feel repetitive across the 6 challenging levels, the randomized power-ups and intense physical demand keep the experience fresh. Starting with the simple joy of playing with a toy, YUKI evolves into a high-stake arcade shooter that rewards your persistence, spatial awareness, and reflex-driven movement in a truly unique VR space. And number 8 we have Until You Fall, a roguelike VR melee combat game that blends arcade-style sword fighting with deep RPG mechanics. You'll battle through waves of neon-soaked enemies, upgrading your gear and strategy with every run, only to rise again, stronger and smarter when you inevitably fall. What makes Until You Fall unique is how it strikes a balance between satisfying hack-and-slash action and thoughtful strategic combat. You won't just swing wildly. Each weapon has distinct characteristics that change how you fight. Maybe you'll block with a light dagger for speed and deal massive damage with a slow heavy mace. Or perhaps dual daggers will suit your fast-paced style. Choosing your loadout feels meaningful, and mid-run upgrades keep things evolving. While the abstract combat, guided by block and attack markers, may look arcade-like, don't be fooled. Timing, precision, and endurance matter, and you'll quickly work up a sweat. Combat revolves around breaking enemy shields before unleashing devastating combos. The deeper you go, the tougher the enemies, and surviving on just a few hit points becomes a thrilling challenge. Immersion comes from how Until You Fall feels than how it looks. Summoning weapons, executing combos, and narrowly surviving encounters feels endlessly rewarding. If you enjoy physical, strategic VR combat with endless replayability, Until You Fall will have you saying, just one more run. And number 9 we have The Seventh Guest VR. Embark on a journey into the eerie depths of Staff Manor with the 7th Guest VR, a haunting puzzle game reimagined for the virtual reality era. From the moment you step foot into the dilapidated mansion, you're enveloped in an atmosphere dripping of suspense and mystery. Vertigo Games' VR adaptation brings a new level of immersion to the classic adventure game, allowing you to explore the haunted manor and unravel its mysteries in a spine-chilling virtual environment. The game's opening sets a tense atmosphere as you roar through the fog towards the Victorian horror house, equipped with a spirit lantern to illuminate your surroundings. The puzzles, reminiscent of the We Were Here series, offer a diverse range of challenges that test your problem-solving skills. However, some puzzles may feel disjointed, detracting from the overall experience. Interactions within the game can be awkward at times, especially when handling smaller objects or pressing tightly positioned buttons. Despite these shortcomings, the 7th Guest VR excels at its narrative delivery, utilizing volumetric video capture to create haunting holographic figures and immersive storytelling. The characters you encounter add depth to the narrative, offering glimpses into their personal struggles and motivations. Vertigo Games has successfully captured the charm of the original game while introducing new elements tailored for VR. Despite its flaws, the 7th Guest VR offers a compelling and atmospheric experience that will keep you engaged from start to finish, making it a worthy addition to the VR adventure genre. And number 10 we have I Expect You to Die Too, The Spy and the Liar. A game that proves in VR game design, attention to detail is paramount. This sequel presents you with 6 diverse and intricately crafted locations that immerse you in their puzzles and surroundings. From the dust that emanates as you handle a rope to the markings on a clipboard, every detail contributes to a sense of realism rarely seen in virtual worlds. The ambient sounds, music, and voice acting, featuring Will Wheaton, enhance the immersive experience. These details transcend the feeling of flimsy virtual environments, pulling you deep into the game's reality. Although it may seem like more of an expansion than a standalone sequel, I Expect You to Die Too retains the essence of its predecessor. As a seated experience with telekinetic abilities, you step into the shoes of a secret agent unraveling a nefarious plot by solving puzzles and inevitably dying and retrying. The game's puzzles are a mix of frustration and reward, pushing you to think creatively about your surroundings. Each level, tied together by a compelling narrative featuring Wheaton's character, actor John Juniper, offers hours of gameplay with a satisfying conclusion. While spending hours on a single level can be maddening, the eventual solutions often feel like half-formed thoughts you didn't fully explore, a testament to the game's quality puzzles. I Expect You to Die Too is an exceptionally comfortable VR experience, best played one level at a time. If you approach it episodically, it stands as one of VR's finest episodic titles, and a well-developed sequel to a foundational VR puzzler. While not for everyone due to its trial and error gameplay, it expands on its predecessor in terms of content and detail. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is a solid loot drop, but it's definitely giving me deja vu vibes. While the value is 100% there for newcomers, the overlap with recent Humble bundles is wild. It's like the devs just copy-pasted the manifest. If your library is already stacked, you might be looking at some duplicate keys. Still, for anyone missing any of these VR titles, it is an easy add to cart to boost your backlog. It is worth the grind, just check your inventory first. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.